That's Periscope.
What is it about Periscope?
You want to have a... So my name's Mfon. Nice to meet you. So I'm assistant professor of business at National University in Chicago. So there I teach a number of business courses. I also work part-time at City College. So I teach also business courses, online, face-to-face as well. So I wanted to talk about Periscope, which you see right now. We're broadcasting live on Periscope. What it is, it's a cell phone application. You can also access it on desktop. It's a cell phone application, which is part of Twitter. So Twitter bought Periscope. It's a live streaming application. So that means you'll broadcast live. People from around the world can watch your broadcast, but also people that follow you. You can send a notification on Twitter. People can go and watch your broadcast. Also, you're able to save it. So how I came to use Periscope in the classroom is kind of a roundabout way. So that's why I was spending this time to tell that story. So it started off with me using Blackboard Collaborate. I don't know if you're familiar. Are you familiar with the Blackboard learning management system? Blackboard is similar to, have you heard of Desire to Learn, D2L? Mm-hmm. Yes. So it's another learning management system. It's called Blackboard. Inside Blackboard, it has its own video sharing application called Collaborate. So I wanted to use the Collaborate to actually, you can do similar to Skype. So I wanted to have someone to join our class, our online class, through the Blackboard Collaborate. And who I wanted to join was this gentleman named Mark Byer. Who is Mark Byer? Very interesting guy. I like to exercise and train. He's a trainer, but he also has his own business. Very popular business where he has his own nutrition bars called Mark Bars. So they sell them, Whole Foods. So it's very interesting. So one day after I went to one of his classes, exercising, I was in the locker room. I asked him, how did he start that business? He told me. It's an amazing story. He's from Ohio, studied accounting, moved to California, then he studied culinary, got into fitness, started a catering company, met his wife, and then they moved to Chicago and he had started his business. So I said, my students, this is a great story for them to hear. So we scheduled a time for him to this Blackboard Collaborate. If you've ever used it, it's not I love Blackboard, but the Blackboard Collaborate it's not an easy process to use, and you have to send a link, and so it took about 1 hour for him to get into the course so we could start the interview. So he was at home with his children, and we had a course, and the students are, so he was in there. He told his story for about another hour about how he started his business, how he studied accounting. But the one thing I forgot to do, I forgot to record it. So I forgot to record this, and it was not a good experience. I apologized to him afterwards. I don't talk to him about what happened, because none of the students could see it. So it was 2 hours. So I said, I've got to find a better way. So what I started doing, I looked to other forms of social media. So what I started doing was using YouTube. So what I would do, I would have a guest come to my office sit at my desk. They would answer questions the students sent in, and we recorded it in YouTube. So this is a screenshot of me and my father, Dr. Jacob Akpan. I was interviewing him for a finance course. So my father, he has his PhD in finance, and he was talking over certain subjects in the course. So that's great. So that I'd used that for quite some time. And I had another person, this is a business person in Chicago, very successful business owner, started several companies, social media, fashion, and I'd spoken to her about speaking to my class. Problem is, she's the CEO of a company. She's busy. So she agreed she would have windows of maybe 30 minutes or so. But the problem is, for her to come to my office, that's 15 minutes, and then the time. It was never the right amount of time. So I said, there's got to be something better. And a student who I had working for me, actually setting up my social media, managing that for me, had told me about Periscope. So I'm thinking about how I can, this challenge, how can I get this to work? So I thought about this Periscope application. So I called her up, I said, listen, I'd like to come there, video the interview in your office. You don't have to go anywhere, just tell me the time. She told me the time, I set everything up with my students, let them know we're going to broadcast on Periscope. They sent me questions. So I show up in her office, and she looks at me, she said, where's the camera? I said, it's my cell phone. Yeah. So she has one of her employees take my cell phone, push the button, and we start broadcasting. She answers the question. Students are able to get in live, ask questions to her live, and it records. So everything's recorded. On my phone, I can save it as an MP4 and upload it to YouTube. So this is a screenshot of YouTube. That's great because the students who are not able to get in there live can watch the recording. By being able to put it into YouTube, I can closed caption it for accessibility, and everyone can see it later on. The best thing is, she didn't have to leave her office. So there's no time. So by seeing this, I thought this is amazing, this live streaming app, Periscope, because I can go anywhere. I can see someone, we can do an interview immediately. You know? And that's great because then I can bring people, events into the classroom, specifically the online classroom, without having it to be cumbersome for the other person. So it's seamless. Now there's other live streaming applications, Google Hangouts, Facebook Live. I find Periscope to be more of an efficient, to be more streamlined, easier to use process. That's my experience with it. So.
So I wondered how is it different from Facebook Live or Skype?
Well, Skype is a little cumbersome to sign up. Facebook Live, you have the Facebook connection. You're right. With this, you can go to. You need the app, and you can go and search the broadcast. Or through Twitter, you can go and search the broadcast, but you don't have to follow. So you don't have to be connected. So if a student has the Periscope and they want to watch my broadcast, they don't have to follow me. So in other words, if they don't want to have that connection, they don't have to. They can just type in the broadcast. Like this is being broadcast now under AECT 2017. So whoever follows me on Twitter, they get a notification I'm broadcasting, but anybody who's on the app, they can watch this.
So will the video be saved on YouTube or on the Blackboard?
The video is saved. First, it's saved in Periscope, so it saves the broadcast, and then it saves it to my phone.
And then we can have like options to save.
Yes, I can convert it. So you can go on the desktop, convert it to MP4, and from then you upload it to YouTube.
That's great.
And then you can edit. You can cut things out, and then you can add the closed captioning for accessibility. So I think that's one important part.
So you create this app, or it's already there?
It was already there. So there was two gentlemen who created this app. If I want to say they created it in 2015. Twitter purchased it in 2016. It's been out for a little over a year, almost 2 years. And immediately Facebook copied with Facebook Live.
Yeah, so as this app has limitation of space, like how many video that we can record, like how many live stream we can record on. Is it free or?
It's free.
So in one account we can record anything, and then we just like type the title and save.
Right. So you go on the app. You before you start you click the icon that you want to broadcast, and then you can type a title, and then you just click go live, and that's it. You're broadcasting.
And how the students see the link, see from the link or from?
So I let the students know either they follow me on Twitter. So if they have Twitter, they can follow me on Twitter, or I tell them the title of the broadcast. So like this broadcast is Farisa Knox. So it's her name. So if you just type in Farisa Knox, it'll go to that. Or you type in my name, it goes straight to it.
And students can see live or even after like one day, or they can.
Right. So I save the broadcast. So if they go to my Periscope account, they can see my saved broadcast. Yes, they can see that. But my normal process is to save it and then move it to YouTube. And then from YouTube, I can put it Blackboard, and you have that closed captioning as far as accessibility in the classroom. Thank you.
You should introduce to teachers.
Yeah, it's great. It was a way to solve a problem for me in the online course. So that was the. So I hope it helps.
In Thailand, we have distance learning because we have like some mountains part that we don't have enough teachers.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Yes, we like broadcast from the capital, from Bangkok, and then students from like up on the mountains can see.
Oh, wow.
So if you can record, and then they just click and easy.
Yeah.
Yes, we used to have video, and then we have like library for the video, and then I think it's too much for like.
It's
Yeah, this is a great way.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Can I have?
Oh, here's. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I'm your next door neighbor.
Oh, okay. So you're doing the Twitter.
Yes, so nobody was there, so I was like, I'm just going to come see what you're doing.
Come on over. We could share. So.
And if you see anybody walking over here, let me know.
I will.
So I've never used Periscope before, but I've seen it.
Okay, it's great, and it's tied in. It's part of Twitter. Twitter owns it.
Okay.
It's a live video streaming application. Really, I was just telling the story about how I came about using it.
Okay.
So I'm not I love the app. I'm not an avid broadcaster. I look at it as a tool, so a means to an end.
Right.
And I came about. I don't know if you're familiar with Blackboard or Blackboard Collaborate.
It's clunky.
Yeah, I love it. I love Blackboard, right. But the Collaborate. There's a new one. There's the Collaborate Ultra, but what started me on this road was the Blackboard Collaborate, and working with my online courses, looking to have guest speakers. So this gentleman here is a trainer who I work out at. I like to work out. He's a trainer there. The backstory with him is that he has his own nutrition company. He makes these bars. So everybody knows that they sell them at Whole Foods. They sell them where we work out at. They sell all over. And I was so curious to know how he got into this business.
Yeah.
So one day after I took his class, we were in the locker room, I asked him, and it's an amazing story. He's from Ohio. He studied accounting, moved to California, and wound up studying culinary, going to culinary school, started a catering business, got into fitness. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And then got into this nutrition business, met his wife, was a nurse, moved back to Chicago. So I was like, wow. And my students, we get a lot out of this, specifically the ones online. So finance and accounting. So I'm business faculty at National Louis.
Okay.
So I work there full time. I teach part-time at city colleges in Chicago, where I teach mainly accounting and finance courses, online and face-to-face.
Okay.
So I was like, wow, they'll get a lot out of this. And he was eager to give back and to talk to students. So we set up a time for him to get in on that Blackboard Collaborate. Now, he's got kids. He's got a busy schedule. So we scheduled this time. I sent him that link to come in to collaborate. It took about an hour to get that, so he was able to get into the collaborate session. Once he got in, I mean, this guy poured his heart out. I was about to cry, to be honest with you, listening to, because he put his real heart and soul into talking to the students. But guess what I forgot to do? Yep, forgot to record it. So at the very end, I pushed that button. You are now recorded. And I had to apologize to him and everything. So we never wound up doing this again. It gives a good story, but we never wound up doing it again. So when I see him, I don't mention that whole incident. But I said there's got to be a better method, better way. And what I started doing was using YouTube.
Okay.
So what I would do, I would have people, that's my office at Harold Washington, and that's my dad, where I had him to come in for an interview for my finance class.
Okay.
So, I'd schedule a time. Students would email me questions ahead of time after they researched the person. They'd come into the office, answer the questions on YouTube. I'm controlling that, and it records, and then I'd post it. Perfect. The only challenge is if someone wants to actually, they have problems coming into the office. So that's where this young lady comes in, Farisa Knox. Very successful businesswoman. She's a CEO, but she's got a big heart. She'd love to share her story.
Right.
But the problem is the time. She'd tell me, listen, on Tuesday I've got 30 minutes for this and that, and I've got to be out by this time. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, this whole thing's going to take maybe 25 minutes. It's going to take her, she said she can leave her meeting here, but she's got to get to my office. Then she's going to have to leave, or it's not going to work. So we would go back and forth on this. And at that time, I had a student who I had doing a project on my social media for me. She mentioned this to me. She just said, this is Periscope. It's great. You should use it. That was it. Didn't know anything else about it, but then I thought about it, checked a little bit. I said, that's a live streaming application. So I said, you know what? I'm going to use this Periscope. So what I did was I called up Farisa. I said, listen, when are you free? I'm going to come and film and do everything in your office. She gave me a time and day. I go to her office. She's like, where's your camera?
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, it's on my phone. It's on your phone. What are you going to do on your phone? I was like, there's Periscope. She said, whatever. I've got a half an hour. So she gets, she's like, let's do it.
Yeah.
Got one of her employees, pushed that button on my phone, started recording, and this is a screenshot of the interview. And the students were able to they could come in live. The good thing, it records. And like
Does it
I was saying,
automatically record?
you set it to automatically record. So it'll save it your cell phone, and it saves it in the app. So you have the recording there. And what you can do, you can access Periscope on your desktop. And there's apps, you can Google it to convert it to an MP4. So you convert it to MP4, send it to YouTube. You got the closed captioning. There you go. So that allowed me to do that. The other students were able to see it. They weren't able to come in live. They could see it later on, so they're not left out.
Right.
You have the accessibility.
And if you run rewatch it, see something again, hear something again.
Yes. And you can use it again for other classes. So you got that there. And they can watch it if it's a similar class. So this was great. It solved that problem. It was in and out of her office. She didn't have to go anywhere.
She was happy.
Yeah, she was happy and amazed because she's like, "Where is your camera?" She thought I was going to come with some video. It was my cell phone. So that was a great thing, and it worked out. So what it taught me was that you can actually use this anywhere. You can use it. Hey, how are you? You can use it anywhere, especially if you have interviews. Maybe you're somewhere you want to talk about something. You can go somewhere. You can record it, talk about it, and then use it in the online environment. So that was, that was my Periscope. We were talking about the Periscope application with Twitter.
I was at the Twitter table, nobody came over. I had a nice discussion with somebody, and I was like, I'm just going to come over and see what you're up to. And here we are. Because I've never used Periscope, but I teach more and more online.
Right.
And looking for a video alternative where I'm not trying to record on my phone, then transfer to computer, all the steps, and this sounds great.
This is great. With technology, it moves so fast. Snapchat's another alternative with the live, and so you're like, no, Snapchat.
I'm done. I'm not learning a new one. I'm going to be a dinosaur.
Well, I tell you, so my specialty is accounting. One of my accounting heroes, which you'll love this, Wendy Teets. She's an accounting professor at Kent State. She has huge, big classes, 200, 300 students. And, I never imagined she'd be on Snapchat. But we were at a conference like accounting conference. She was talking on Snapchat. And it made sense the way that she used it. She said, my classes are so big, I'm not going to be able to communicate with all the students. So she gives them her Snapchat. She gets on there. She'll talk about something. She'll snap about a problem, or students will send her a picture of a problem they're having issues with. She's able to communicate back and forth with them. So then I started using it. So I said, let me, the only thing is I don't have, what's weird.
You're starting to...
Huh?
I said, you're starting to twist the arm here.
You twist it a little bit?
Yeah, I'm thinking, this sounds good.
It's good.
Yeah.
My only thing is I give it to my students, but what's fun, none of the students, my current students, they won't snap with me. So I have students from my other class, I'll have students, let's say I'm teaching financial accounting. They moved, so that's 181, they moved to 182. They'll snap me pictures of the homework problems they're having, asking me to help them with those problems. So I'm like, okay, but it's easy. So they send a snap, and I'm able to talk and send a snap back, or we can do a video, kind of like a Skype, in the app. So it is great.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I'll look into it.
Okay. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
But what Wendy does, what she does, similar to this Periscope, she'll be somewhere and make a snap and say, okay, this is a such and such business. This is how this applies to accounting. Or this is how this applies to accounting. And then she sends a snap out. And her students will send pictures, we're studying for your test. Or, they'll send things to her and stuff. So it's a great way of communicating. So,
very cool.
It's awesome.
Yeah. Because I'm getting emails, I'm just getting flooded with email. And it's so easy to say, send me an email.
Right.
But then it just gets added into the cluster of an inbox. Exactly.
The email.
So I'm looking for other ways to communicate, and it can be where I'm still responsive, I'm still paying attention, I'm still getting back to them, still giving them feedback, but not completely taking up an entire weekend or an entire week. So.
Do you use YouTube at all?
Sporadically, but not consistently.
YouTube's so I've found success with YouTube.
Okay.
As far as being able to communicate with everybody at one time with one video. The time, at this point I've got a little system on how I get the videos going and stuff, so it doesn't take too much time. But I found if I'm posting a video a week, so let's say an online course, and I'm strict with it, I'm going to post the video, and I reiterate, I screenshot, I go over all of the things. What I've seen happen is probably by, if it's a let's say we got 16 weeks, so we got a semester, I would say probably by week 3, I'm not getting any. I'll get emails, maybe about things being late or questions, but it's pretty much kind of smooth sailing as far as the email. But the thing I found, I've got to be consistent with the weekly videos and things like that.
Do you just do updates and reminders?
I do updates and reminders.
Okay.
But in the very beginning, I'll go into a Hangout and I will go into the screen and show the syllabus. I go over the syllabus. I go over the key things. You got to do this. You got to do this. So I reiterate it. They already have an orientation. We have a collaborate session, but the problem I found, not too many students come in that collaborate session. Not to say it's bad, but it's scheduled at a set time, and the point of taking an online course is that freedom. It's recorded, but to get to it and find it may not be the easiest. So I just do my own YouTube, doing that, and then it goes out in that email, and everybody, they just have to click and watch. And if they go into the desk, they see the video. The other feedback I've gotten, which I've gotten better at, is to make the video around 4 to 5 minutes. That's the feedback I got from students. I've read about that.
Yeah.
I've never practiced it because I've been running my mouth for about 10 or 15.
Yeah.
But I'm amazed that if I organize what I'm going to talk about, I feel like I'm talking for 10 minutes, but it's maybe like 4 minutes going through it.
Right.
So that was the feedback I've gotten. The other thing is, and this is another good thing to think about too. Well, two things. The other thing is with problems. So I'm doing accounting and finance. Students, they love it, especially when it's online. They love it to see me working out the practice problems, and they can go rewind it and go back and forth and look at it. They love that part. So that helps. And in the face-to-face courses, the students, they love that too, because
they can see it again and again.
They can see it again and again, and they'll go in there and look at it. Even though we were in class, they like to see the video, and they can watch it again. And they like to hear if it's concepts. So I've had students ask me like definitions, or there's organizations, if I can make videos. But they were saying, we like to see you, but we don't want to see you. We want to see the words. So I started making, like kind of words. I'm talking, and then there's the words defining, and I'm describing it. So they love that. I said, okay. But the last thing I was going to say is the data. You have your own data. This may sound funny, but on that, so I use YouTube a lot. That's my big thing. I've got 4 channels.
Oh, that's great.
I'm making videos all the time,
Yeah.
but have my own data. What that means on that app, so I make playlists for each class. I can go at any time and say, well, okay, I can see that there's 20 students went in and viewed, me working this problem. If I got, I know who's watching what. Why is that important or valuable? Well, a lot of times